It is well known that many Star Wars fans were skeptical about Respawn Entertainment's action-adventure game Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. The skepticism mostly coming from the quality of past EA Star Wars games in comparison to other games such as Star Wars The Force Unleashed. However, I want to emphasize the fact that EA was just the publisher, and that Respawn brought a fresh new story to the Star Wars universe that not only brought me back to the fun I had in past Star Wars games, but also gave me the confidence that EA does want to release a good game or two. My name is Jared, and today I'll be bringing you the live connection review of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. As always, for those who are new to the channel, the way our reviews are structured are we will be evaluating 5 categories which will be given a number out of 20, and then at the end of the video we'll add it up for a score out of 100. And yes, that will correlate with the letter grade. But enough of the technical mumbo jumbo, let's get to it. The first category we will be evaluating is visuals and performance. Respawn did not cut corners with this one. The graphics in the game are beautiful in design and the art style is very appealing. Right at the start in the scrapping yards of Braca, the player is met with beautiful views of Republic transports and tanks as well as separatist control centers. But it does not stop there. Every planet is uniquely designed and beautiful in its own way. Even the dark, ominous atmosphere of Dathomir is very appealing to venture through. The character designs are also very well done. However, the one thing that did throw me off throughout the game is the fact that Cere constantly has this look of shock on her face like a deer in the headlights. Like, why do you need that? Look at that. Anyways, the lightsaber designs are authentic with a range of vibrant colors to choose from, as well as an impressive selection of hilt designs, all of which are detailed and fun to mess around with. With regards to performance, it did not take me long to find bugs with the game on Xbox One. The first being as simple as a menu glitch when customizing your lightsaber, to getting stuck and having to load the game, which has the potential to cost you major progress. There are some less impactful glitches that I came across, such as the BD1 chest animation underwater. Instead of on land where he will hop in, shake the chest around and then hop out, in the water Cal opens the chest, BD1 stays on his shoulder, but the chest still shakes like it would with his normal animation, and it was every chest underwater, not just a select few. However, this glitch was not game breaking, just not ideal. With all that considered, I am going to give Star Wars The Jedi The Fallen Order a 14 out of 20 for visuals and performance, mostly because although the game looked beautiful and for the most part ran smoothly, there were a bunch of small glitches and some major glitches that hindered the game. Next on the list is story and plot. The game itself is set 5 years after Order 66, which resulted in the devastating purge of the Jedi. The story follows Cal Kestis, a young Jedi Padawan who survived the purge and is now searching for the last hope for the Jedi, a holocron which contains a list of Force-sensitive children. For those who watch the Star Wars Clone Wars TV series or know the Star Wars lore, this should sound a little bit familiar. Cal attempts to survive his adventures while being pursued by the Galactic Empire, including the Inquisitors, namely the Second and Ninth Sister. Through your journey you meet allies such as Saw Gerrera, who is featured in Rogue One, Jedi Knight Cere Junda, Grease, the fun companion BD1, and there were some pleasantly unexpected allies as well. Overall, although the game only took me 18.5 hours to complete with all maps fully explored on the hardest difficulty, I thoroughly enjoyed the story Respawn had designed. The game constantly brought back the feeling of nostalgia as well as the excitement with every plot twist. This in combination with excellent voice acting made me truly care about what happened to the characters. One of the things I love most of what Respawn did was they gave the game value for people who are super fans of the universe and those who may have watched a movie or two and just enjoyed a good action-adventure game. Finally, the story is unique in that it takes you all across the Star Wars galaxy, traveling to planets that were well known such as Kashyyyk or Dathomir, and also planets that are less known to the everyday person such as Ilum or Braca. For this category, I'm going to give it a 19 out of 20. This is mostly because although the story was well designed and very enjoyable, it did seem short to me, especially considering I played the game on the hardest difficulty and explored everywhere you could on the map and still didn't breach 20 hours. Not saying a long story makes a good game, but it did feel rushed. Time for gameplay. From force abilities to lightsaber combat to even environmental interactions such as climbing and wall running, this game played very fun and smooth for the most part. Honestly, the best way I can describe this game, at least on the hardest difficulty, is if Dark Souls married Star Wars and had a child, this would be it. The combat itself was challenging and scaled well as the player progressed. Just when you thought you had an edge on your enemies, boom, they introduced a new enemy that knocks your ego back where it belonged. For me, it was the first Purge Trooper. It took me embarrassingly long to get past him. Something else that made me think of Dark Souls was the meditation spots. Essentially, they act the same as bonfires. However, I didn't like how you couldn't use them as fast travel points, but only as healing, level up, and save stations. It was really annoying having to run through the same sections over and over and over. One of the coolest features I really appreciated that played a major role in combat was how they designed the parrying in line with different difficulties. For example, on lower difficulties, you had a large window where parrying would be successful, and at high difficulty, you have to have perfect timing or that parry wouldn't go well for you. As someone who enjoys a challenge in games, that was most welcome. Furthermore, the progress of your character was very well done, and the introduction of new abilities came with progression through the game, which usually made it so players had to return to previously visited worlds to go to areas that were blocked before by maybe a wall that can be force pushed. One of my favorite sections of lasting only about 5 minutes was being able to control the AT-AT on Kashyyyk. Talk about feeling indestructible and badass, crushing all of the enemies in your path. However, there was one thing that really bugged me in the game when it came to combat. Some enemies, upon depleting their health bar would have sections cut off or even be cut in half in some instances, but any of the Imperial forces would only have glowing lines where you had clearly swung your lightsaber through. This annoyed me because that was probably one of the best parts of games like The Force Unleashed. Normally I would say, oh, it's just Disney being Disney and not wanting violence, but in some of the cutscenes limbs were severed. So clearly they weren't restricted, just chose not to incorporate it. I know it's petty, but I'm sure no one would complain with limbs flying in a Star Wars game. With all that in mind, I'm giving it an 18 out of 20. Mostly because personally I would have preferred the addition of some features such as severing body parts, but in whole the gameplay was fun, challenging, and progressed very well. Next we have character progression. In the game you have 3 trees that you can apply skill points to in order to progress and make Cal stronger and more effective. The trees are split into 3 categories: Force, Lightsaber, and Survival. The unique aspect of the trees, which I thought was well designed, is that sections of each tree were not made available till you progress to a certain point in the story. I really enjoyed this aspect because although I love myself some open world learn as you go gameplay, it was refreshing to have a full understanding of the abilities accessible before having more thrown at me. I'm sure I still barely scratched the surface with regards to combos and smart use of powers, but it definitely helped with getting a basic understanding of each aspect of the game. The other thing I liked is that it was possible to entirely fill out the trees before the game was done. With small micro worlds to travel on, packed with enemies, there was never a dull moment nor a lacking of experience walking around. Although there was a handful of choices on the tree, I found I never was wishing I could have more, nor did I feel like I was impeded during combat. The amount of skills in each was satisfactory, and for the most part I found myself clinging to a select few that best suited my playstyle. For this category, I'm giving it a 20 out of 20. I found that character progression was smooth, well designed, and provided plenty of choice to the player so that they never felt like they were lacking in combat. For the final category, we'll be going over customizability. In the game, you're able to customize your companion BD-1, your lightsaber, Cal's outfits, and the Mantis, which is the ship you fly on. I found for the most part the options for the Mantis and BD-1 were plentiful and had some very cool variations appealing to almost everyone. However, for both, you were only able to change the color, which was unfortunate because there could have been some cool modifications based on understanding the universe. But I do acknowledge this wasn't necessarily the focus of the game. With regards to Cal's lightsaber, there was a big selection of hilts, switches, crystal colors, and more to choose from. The unique categories allowed for the player to mix and match, making a unique design that suited them. One cool thing I liked is they promoted map exploration with customizability options by making it so they only became available to the player once you found them in the chest. The only exception being crystal colors, which most of them don't become available until pretty far into the game, which is unfortunate, but once you play the game and see how they do it, it does make sense. The final category of customization is Cal's outfits. For the most part, I was disappointed in this section because I felt it was lacking. The largest customization was different colors of your poncho, which I didn't even like to begin with. I felt they could have dove deeper into the outfit customization by giving Cal cool, unique outfits based on the worlds, not just another color for his poncho. Like surprise, the poncho on Kashyyyk is muddy green. The best example I could use is The Force Unleashed. In the game, you're able to unlock some amazing outfits for Starkiller that can make you feel badass or authentic no matter of dark or light side alignment. In Fallen Order, it would have been nice to have incorporated this to a degree. I mean, I don't expect Cal to be walking around in an Inquisitor's outfit, but as said before, outfits matching the worlds could have been cool. They've had a few different outfits, but once again, they were just different colors of the same outfit, which is pretty boring. With all of that considered, I'm going to give this category a 12 out of 20, mainly because the only customization option that truly gave you lots of choice was the lightsaber, while the others lacked in options for the player and were frankly quite bland. So once again, that brings us to the end of another live connection review. With all the scores added up, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order receives an 83 out of 100, which correlates with the B+. This awesome new contribution to the Star Wars universe was huge considering the wavering trust people have in EA. They needed this win, and let's just say Respawn delivered. Although it had some issues and was lacking in the areas such as customization, I had a blast playing this game and would highly recommend it to anyone. I look forward to seeing what EA and Respawn have learned from this reception of this game and are interested to see what they do next. I hope you enjoyed this live connection review of the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. If you liked this video, please help support our community by leaving a like and hit that subscribe. We also want to hear about what your opinions are on the game. Did you like it or hate it? Let us know in the comment section below. See you next time.